This is week 6, and we're going to talk about titles and text. First of all, I am sitting here with the interface as my editing interface, and what I want to do is select the graphic interface. Okay, and then we have the graphic interface. We have a panel on the right that has appeared. I'm going to create a lower third text in this seal video. You could use any background you like and type in any text you like. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is use my type tool, and just click on my screen. It looks like it's going to be a pretty large text. So what I want to do is make it smaller. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say it's probably want to be about that big. Okay, and I'm going to start typing Monterey. I see here that the fill is blue, and I want that to be white. Okay, the main thing about text is you want it to be readable. So for instance, you don't want to have a lot of little serifs around the edges. And I see here that my text is Helvetica. If I wanted to change that, I've got all of Monterey selected, and I could come in here and choose a different text type. I'm going to say Command Z and undo that, so I like Helvetica. And I'm going to now hit return and say Monterey County. So I want the Monterey County to be smaller, so I'm going to select that. If I made this whole panel smaller, I could do that up here with my controls, or I could just select part of it and come down here and use this control. Now I see it's Helvetica Bold, so I'm going to say I want that to be light. Okay, and let's say I could even make that a different color, so I'm going to give it kind of a light blue color. Maybe like that. Okay, so that doesn't look as readable as I want it to be, so maybe I better keep it brighter. Okay, so that's pretty good. So what is most important about text is that it's readable. So you want it to be contrasty enough in color and in lightness and darkness with the background. And I see here that my blue is a little bit on the edge, but if I could do other things to enhance it, we'll see if that will help a little bit. The other thing I want to do is make sure that it's in title safe. So if you click on your wrench at the bottom of the screen, where it says safe margins, be sure that that's selected. So I'm going to select that, so title safe. So you see here there's two lines. One is the active safe, where all the action needs to stay within the outer border, and the inside is title safe. So what we want to do is select that and go up to my select tool and move that right to the edge of it. Okay, so that's a nice lower third, but well within title safe area. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is make that stand out a little bit better. So I've got the whole box selected, and I'm going to move down here, and I could change my fill. Okay, I could also add a stroke if I wanted to. In fact, I could even make that wider if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I could have a background. I could add a background color if I wanted to. I could also add a drop shadow if I wanted to. So I could click that on, and here are my shadow options. I took myself off the screen so you could see better. So this is the distance, how far away the shadow is from the text, also how dark or light it is. And it looks to me like it's a little bit too strong in terms of it's just a little bit too soft. So I'm going to make it a little bit more pronounced, and again I'm going to bring it a little closer to the text. You don't want the shadow to be separated from the word. So Monterey County is pretty thin. The other thing I could have done is gone over here and selected, for instance, just the Monterey County and made it all capitalized. I could also separate it. I think I want to make it a little bit smaller now that I have it all capitals. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now that is a layer all unto itself. However, let's say I wanted to put a background to it without hitting my background here. I could add another layer. So I'm going to get back to my select tool. And what I want to do is put a square behind it to let the Monterey and Monterey County pop out a little better. So over here in our toolbar, we have the pen tool. And you see these little arrows on the bottom right. If I click it and hold it, I have two shapes that I could create. One of them is a rectangle shape. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a rectangle around about what I want the size to be. And I don't necessarily want the fill to be blue. In fact, I want it to be pretty close to black. So let's do that. But of course, the shape is in front of my text. Here are my layers. So what I want to do is I want to take my text and put it up above my shape. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's go back to the shape, and these are several tools that you can use with the shapes. I'm going to make it a little bit more transparent so that it blends better with the background. Okay, and it looks like my text needs to sort of move over a little bit on top of it better. I could also select multiple layers here and align them in different ways. Now it's right in the middle, or I could move it over to the left or the right or in the center. So these are align tools. So the other thing I could have done to make this lower third pop a little bit better is I could take the shape, for instance, and I could add a drop shadow for it as well. So let's make this a little darker, and now you could see it a little better. I'm going to make it less soft, okay? Maybe right about there. And I'm going to move it back towards this shape a little better.